UK, I feel like my neighbor would call the council within like 30 seconds. It would all be shut down. Hey guys, welcome back to the Girl Gone London channel. If you're new here, my name is Kaylin. I'm an American who's lived in the UK for almost 10 years, and today I am bringing you a special Halloween edition talking about the differences between how Halloween is celebrated in the US and the UK. Okay, so first things first, I am currently in the US, so this topic has obviously been brought about because it is Halloween, but also because in the US, Halloween is just such a big production and a big deal that I've really been reminded of how important this holiday is to Americans and have been able to compare and contrast to what I've experienced around Halloween in the UK for the past 10 years. My husband is also British, so he's given me a little insight into his childhood and Halloween and whether it was a thing or not. So I've made a list of some of the differences between how Halloween is celebrated or not in both countries. So let's jump into the video. So the first difference in modern Halloween celebrations is really the length of how how Halloween is celebrated. So in the US, Halloween starts basically in August. The kids go back to school and everybody starts to get excited about Halloween on October 31st. So you know how some countries have the run up to Christmas where it, starts a few months early? It's the same thing for Halloween in the US. You go into the stores. I was in stores definitely in August and they had all of their Halloween stuff. We really do like an autumn/fall celebrations here in the US too. So as soon as that first day of autumn, or we call it fall in the US, but as soon as that really hits, everything just changes over and we're all looking forward to Halloween. In the UK, on the other hand, I've really kind of experienced Halloween as something that you might think about a couple days beforehand. If people are going to decorate, which we'll talk about in a little bit, they're really gonna do it like a couple days, the day of, the weekend before. Americans do it way in advance. Again, we've been seeing Halloween decorations all of October, and some as early as literally September 30th, October 1st. You've still got 30 full days until Halloween, and Americans are putting up those decorations. Okay, so the next difference has to do with trick-or-treating, which for a British person celebrating Halloween is the main event, the whole purpose. What else is there to it? In America, it's basically the culmination of the Halloween season, so it is of course the main event for many people, but we've done a lot of things in the lead up to trick-or-treating. But in general, trick-or-treating is not as common in the UK as it is in the US. It just has a different feel to it. It didn't even come over to the UK until more recently. My husband, who is British, didn't have trick-or-treating when he was growing up in England, and it really has only been within maybe the past like 5 or so years, I think that Halloween has really started to grab a little bit of a hold of the UK, not too much. And I know there's a lot of people in the UK who are like, no, thank you. We don't want that American craziness. But some kids in the UK do trick or treat. It is a thing, but it's not a thing like it is in the US. In fact, I was looking up to find some articles about just how Halloween is celebrated in the UK and trick-or-treaters. And the first thing I found was an article about how to stop children from trick-or-treating at your house. In the US, we really love it. We celebrate it. People love to hand out candy. The adults will stay home and dress up. That's a really fun thing to do, which we'll get into a second about adults and Halloween. But in general, in the US, it's just such an event. You're looking for the neighborhoods that hand out the full-size candy bars. People are really into it. In the UK, trick-or-treating is a thing, but really not to the same extent. You're not necessarily going to be going like neighborhood hopping, looking for the best neighborhoods to hand out candy. And in general, it's really kind of restricted to primary school or elementary school age children. It does seem frowned upon here once you are a preteen or a teen to do something like trick-or-treating. And that brings me to my next difference about the age at which people in these countries think it's acceptable to celebrate Halloween. So in the UK, from my experience, you either have adults who might go to a one-off Halloween like party at a nightclub or something, and that is kind of mostly like for the university students. So you might have that segment of people, and then you've got, like I said, the elementary school and primary school aged kids, and Halloween is for them. It is for young kids. By the time you hit like 12, 13, 14, definitely, it just seems like Halloween is not for those kids in the UK, or those teenagers or preteens or whatever. I'm not saying that they don't do anything, but it definitely seems like it's for younger kids. In the US, Halloween is for everyone. Typically, you would trick or treat kind of all through middle and high school. That's up to the age of 18. Even as college students, as long as you're putting effort into your costumes, pretty much no one is going to have a problem with you trick-or-treating. You could trick-or-treat as an adult as long as you, again, put real effort into your costume. Just showing up to someone's house, knocking on the door, asking for candy, not really the point. But it definitely does not cut off, you know, when you're 10 years old, that was your Halloween experience. And then after you kind of reach high school, college age, you maybe start to dress up and hand out candy, or as an adult, you would go to Halloween parties, Halloween costume parties. There's loads of events that we'll talk about in a second that you might go to. It really is not limited to a certain age group. And while trick-or-treating is, you know, predominantly kids under the age of 18, everybody in the US really does get into the Halloween spirit. Okay, so the next difference has to do with the decorating of the houses. So I was actually very impressed with our neighborhood in the UK last year during the pandemic to see what they did in terms of Halloween decorations. People actually put up more than I expected, but compared to what they do in the US, which is absolutely over the top insane, it doesn't compare. In the US, every street that we drive by, I seem to be pointing out like massive Halloween inflatables. Americans love an inflatable. People, I'm gonna insert some pictures here. People are decorating their house with like skeletons, massive spiders crawling all over the roof. Some of them are funny, some of them are supposed to be scary. We've seen some ones that actually scared us as we walked past because it did look like something pretty spooky hanging out in the window, or some kind of gory things hanging from a tree, or skeleton bones here and there. Americans go all out when it comes to Halloween decorating, and that is much different than in the UK. People might put like a pumpkin or a little bit of like spider's web on the door if you really want to get into it, but it doesn't compare to the US. Okay, the next difference has to do with the actual Halloween activities in the run-up to Halloween. So again, this is where in the UK, I really don't have much to talk about because it's just not the same Halloween culture. And I know, again, a lot of you Brits are like, thank goodness for that. As an American, Halloween isn't my favorite holiday, but I do feel really happy that I got those experiences of trick-or-treating and being able to be really into that as a kid and teen. I have some great memories of Halloween, and also I do like being here now and seeing all the Halloween decorations. But in the UK, there's not too much in the way of like Halloween activities outside of trick-or-treating. I looked up like haunted houses in England, and all I could find was an article from the National Trust about like the most haunted stately homes in the UK. In the US, we love a Halloween themed activity, a scare house, a haunted house, a Halloween festival. People and communities go all out all throughout the month of October to really host these kind of spooky, family-friendly, or like downright terrifying events. Since I've been here in the US, to give you examples of what we've done, we have gone to a walkthrough Halloween, like it was a haunted house, but it was very intense. So there were tons of scare actors. Actually, now that I'm bringing this up, I do know that Thorpe Park does Fright Nights yearly. So that might be the closest thing that the UK has to like haunted mazes and stuff. So the UK does have it now that I'm thinking about it, but I don't think there's as many options as in the US. But we did go to, again, a very intense walkthrough, like haunted maze with scare actors jumping out at you. We went in the Thousand Oaks area of just outside Los Angeles in California. And so of course you had people who work in the industry, who are makeup artists, who are set designers and stuff, coming together to create this haunted house. We love that kind of thing in the US. Other examples I can give, because we were in the LA area recently, they do a haunted hayride thing that happens outdoors and everything is all decked out for Halloween outdoors. We also have gone to a home haunt. I've never been to one of these before, but someone has actually turned their family home into a haunted house. They're literally living, we think, in the upstairs currently, and they have turned their entire downstairs, front yard and backyard into a themed haunted house, complete with animatronics and actors and, you know, probably like the people from the neighborhood getting really into it. There was a line just all the way down the neighborhood street. People of all ages were lined up to get in. It was mostly adults, actually, because I think they did like a non-scary kids walkthrough earlier. So again, this is just an example of something where I cannot fathom what would happen in the UK if I tried to turn my house into a haunted house. Now, I'm sure most of the neighbors are a little bit over it by the time Halloween happens, because there's all the parking and stuff. You know, you've got a lot of people coming into your neighborhood. But in general, I think people in the US really celebrate something like that and support it. In the UK, I feel like my neighbor would call the council within like 30 seconds. It would all be shut down. People in the UK don't really seem into that kind of Halloween fun.
We don't have a big enough house to do it in.
Okay, the next difference about Halloween celebrations in the US and the UK has a bit more to do with the general autumn celebrations, but it's something we call in the US pumpkin patches. I'm not sure if they have the same term in the UK because I've never seen one, but in the US we really like, it started off with a farm, like a real pumpkin patch that people would go to, because obviously carving pumpkins is a quintessential part of Halloween. And you take your family to the pumpkin patch, you pick out your pumpkin. There's like hay rides, which my husband, who's British, had never heard of a hay ride before. Basically imagine being in the back of someone's pickup truck or tractor with sitting on bales of hay, and you're kind of wearing your flannel or your fleece, and it's all very like autumnal. But pumpkin patches are a very popular thing in the US around the Halloween season. If you live somewhere like a city that doesn't have a farm, that's okay. They just bring all the pumpkins in and make a fake pumpkin patch and people still eat it up. Okay, and the next difference is the presence of Halloween specific stores in the US compared to basically the absence of that in the UK. We here in the US, every time Halloween comes around, again, probably starting like beginning of September, a store specifically called like Spirit Halloween, or it could have different names. It's a pop-up store. It usually will take the place of some like empty like mall shop or something. And it is just wall-to-wall costumes, wall-to-wall Halloween paraphernalia. I'll insert a picture here of me in one. And we love Halloween so much that we need Halloween-specific stores. These don't usually last all year. Obviously, some people have heard of like a year-round Christmas store. I don't think I've ever seen a year-round Halloween store. They are more pop-up for the season, but when Halloween is on its way, again, August, early September, we're thinking about it, and we are going to the Halloween store, picking out our costumes, buying our haunted house stuff, and it's just rows and rows and rows and rows of options. And in the UK, I've never seen a Halloween store, so there's that. And the last difference I have to share about Halloween in the UK versus Halloween in the US is the presence of like Halloween specific discounts in the US. We celebrate the holiday to such an extent that stores might use it as like a special code. Use code Halloween and get this amount of money off, or for Halloween we're doing this special promotion. I've never seen anything like that in the UK, and again, it's similar to what you would experience on like a Boxing Day or a Christmas, that use of the holiday to have a promotion or a code or some sort of sale, even if it's not directly related to that specific holiday. It's just more of a general promotion based on Halloween. Now, speaking of Halloween products and promotions, if you've watched my video on how I make money online, then you might have seen that I have a website called intothecookie-jar.com. I actually have a Halloween cookie baking and decorating course that I designed. So I'll link that below, maybe insert a little bit of the promo video here.
Halloween lovers, have you heard the news? Halloween just got more delicious. In this Halloween cookie decorating course, you'll learn how to make and decorate beautiful and Instagram-worthy treats. With 3 levels, kids, families, and adults, everyone can go at their own speed. Get together for a Halloween cookie decorating party, or simply use it to keep the kids occupied while you hide in the closet. All of the Halloween cookie shapes, as well as recipes and tutorials, are included. So grab your family and make sure to watch out for the ghosts, the ghouls, and the occasional wandering skeleton. See you in the class.
So if you guys are interested in getting more into Halloween, or maybe you're an American expat who lives in the UK who wants a way to celebrate Halloween and decorate some cookies with me, definitely check out that course. Okay, so that brings me to the end of my video. I usually end with a question or something that I want you guys to comment below. And in this one, I just want you to comment your opinions on Halloween and your experience in whichever country you're from. So tell us what country you're from. Do they celebrate Halloween? What has been your experience? Again, I know that a lot of British people look at American Halloween and actually are not wanting it to come to the UK and are not necessarily happy that it seems like the day has been Americanized and people are celebrating Halloween. I've read that part of this is because also Halloween, October 31st, is very close to Bonfire Night in the UK, which is November 5th, only 5 days later. And that's a very big celebration for the UK. So it's almost like that extra Halloween day isn't necessary and people don't see the point, but I'd love to hear your experiences, your opinion. And if you are a fan of Halloween, have a very happy and safe Halloween, and thanks for watching. See you next time.